Hello and welcome to the Walk and Left podcast. I'm TJ.
And I'm Brooke.
And today we are going to talk about planting in faith and harvesting in joy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making us a part of your week. The Walk and Live podcast is a weekly conversation between Brooke and I about parenting, faith, rhythms, emotions. It's a place where we laugh and sometimes cry as we try to find language to live a more full life.
And if you like your listening to line up with your living, then you are in the right place.
You are in the right place. And
that place tonight is different.
That is place is tonight because Brooke and I have been blessed with the opportunity to listen to muffled grunge rock Thursdays and Sunday nights. About 7 p.m. till about 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Our neighbors have started a band.
I believe that this person was always in a band. I think they just practiced elsewhere.
Our one neighbor has...
And then it's like, I think he volunteered a tribute. And now the band practices happen there.
Yes.
And it's...
What? Okay,
it's not great.
Before we get into the sponsor.
Okay.
So we're in our living room right now. So
right.
if we have a different energy, it's because
we're on a couch. I don't know what's happening. We haven't been on a couch since the basement.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they play till about 9 p.m. And it's
13 minutes from
13 minutes, but we wanted to start as soon as we could. If you had to give them a band name.
Oh, if I had to name them?
Yeah, throw like
Grunge Sponge.
Oh,
Hey, you said the first thing that came to my mind.
It reminds me of Schmidt trying to sell the man sponge, or like this, trying to make the sponge manly. Remember when he has that advertising? Kind of. Anyways, my first inclination was the meth heads.
Yikes. I don't think that they are.
I don't think that they are either, but that like, or grizzly back.
Ooh, Ugh. Do you shave it? Do you ignore it? A lot of questions.
Any other ideas?
I mean, if I really had to keep going, I probably could. My brain can't think of anything right now because I can hear the muffled grunge rock in the background right now, which is, it's like, it like sends my body a little bit into like fight, flight, or freeze. Okay. And I have to be like, you're safe, Brooke. It's okay.
It's going to end.
It's going to end.
They've always ended.
The sound
ordinance starts at 9. And I think the latest we've heard a sound was 9:07.
Yeah.
So they finished strong though. They finished with a big finale.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, you cannot hear it in either of our girls' rooms.
Well, you can, but they have fans or noise machine.
Yeah.
Like they have white noise going loud enough that it's not super obvious when they're trying to fall asleep.
But in our
if
bedroom,
they had all that turned off, you could definitely hear it.
Yeah, but in our bedroom, it's like we're front and center.
Yeah.
At the show.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It's a show, however, that I don't want to be at.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think I was attending it. And then all of a sudden it's here 2 nights a week, which is real fun. It's just an opportunity for us to
contact the HOA or no, not that opportunity.
Anyway, so we're on the couch right now. We yet again are recording Sunday night, hour before we have to release the podcast episode. We're trying out a new rhythm. I don't think it's working.
It's not. I can't say that we're intentionally trying this part. This waiting till Sunday night is not part of an intentional rhythm.
We are supposed to be recording our podcast on Wednesday night, and we have failed.
So I think we need to adjust.
3 Wednesdays in a row.
Well, you were gone for one of those Wednesdays.
Maybe. The altitude was poisoning me. Anyway, so yeah, the band is playing. They're rocking out. Grunge Sponge is playing.
It's a solid name. If you tell me if you saw that on a poster, you wouldn't consider it for a split second. Maybe I should go to that show. Do I want to be front and center like Brooke and TJ's bedroom? Maybe. Maybe.
Hello, Maui. We're Grunge Sponge. Anyways, so the sponsor of this episode is us. And today's sponsor is the Christmas collection.
Wow.
Launching soon. Very soon, October 1st through the 10th. So it's open a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. It's all the great items that we will have available for Christmas, one of which we're going to talk about tonight. One design that we're going to talk about tonight. And it looks great. It's not here yet. It comes this week.
Let's hope. Yeah. Does it?
Yeah. It's on its way. One item came in. It's not something you wear on your top.
Oh.
Something you wear on your bottom. And it's not undies.
Okay.
It's
very specific.
It's sweatpants.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
There's an item.
Because I was entering fight, flight, or freeze.
We are now selling grunge sponge thongs.
Oh, gross. So gross.
We're going to do sweatpants, and they're going to be glorious. So those sweatpants, as well as all the other great items from the Christmas collection, will be available October 1st through the 10th. Mm-hmm. Be the last collection of the year, the items that you'll get before Christmas. And we would really love for you to shop from us for your Christmas presents. Mm-hmm. Or if you want to just treat yourself.
Treat yourself 2011.
Treat yourself.
Wow, 2011.
I know.
That feels like such an old reference.
It is.
I mean, it is an old reference, but like literally dated. And so it feels even older.
Yeah, so that's the sponsor. Shop the collection. Or you can buy a tea of the month that's available right now. You can just shop from us. And the TJ's Christmas.
Oh, now it's part of Christmas?
Frenzied podcast giveaway. Grunge Sponge fan experience this week is I have 50% off tickets, general admission plus.
Okay.
For 10 people. 10 tickets each.
Okay.
Use the code Grunge Sponge.
10 tickets each?
Yeah, so 10 general admission tickets.
Oh, 10, not 10 tickets per person.
No. I mean, if you wanted to buy 10 tickets, you go buy them all right now. Scalp them at the door. So use the code Grunge Sponge.
Wow. Smart.
Well, I guess I have to make two codes. Grunge Sponge is for the general admission.
Okay.
Grunge Sponge plus.
It's for the general admission plus tickets.
Plus, yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
You got to spell it out, not the plus sign. You got to spell it out.
PLUS plus.
Grunge Sponge plus. We'll give you 50% off general admission or general admission plus for 10 tickets. If the code doesn't work, that means they're all gone.
Okay. Right.
And if you missed last week's episode of the podcast, from now until Christmas, I'm doing random giveaway things every episode of the podcast. And most of them will be like this, where it's like a very limited amount. So you want to listen on Monday so you can get it on Monday because it probably won't last beyond Monday. So if you want to come to the Christmas extravaganza, we'd love to have you. And this is a way to do it at 50% off.
Nice.
For 20 people.
All thanks to our neighbor band.
Oh, thanks to the Grunge Bunch. So yeah, I think that's kind of the...
So are the groupies called grungies or spongies?
I think they're called spongies.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Are we making merch for them? We just drop it at their doorstep. Literally shirts with a band name that's not their band name. I'm certain they have a band name. We're just like cheering you guys on. There's like a box of t-shirts.
It's so good.
I kind of want a shirt now.
I kind of want a shirt that says Grunge Sponge too. Speaking of music, segue. Switchfoot.
Oh,
what's the album called?
Beautiful Letdown.
Beautiful Letdown.
Yeah,
came out 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They re-released it with their they redid all the songs called Our Version. So, which is a thing that bands do. So I learned this from, I think Griner told me this. So bands re-release albums when they're out of their record deal so that they can get most of the streaming money for it. And so
that's why they redo it. That's literally what happened to Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Yeah. And, but what Switchfoot did, which I think is absolutely one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen in music.
Mm-hmm. It's happened before, but
who's done it before?
Oh, people have done it before.
Who?
Like all the Like there's that whole Bob Dylan album that like a bunch of people redid.
Okay, but he wasn't involved in that. Was he?
I don't know, actually.
See, that's why I think it's brilliant, because they're involved.
Okay.
They had other musicians redo their songs from that album in the same order.
Yeah.
And it's so good. So maybe other people have done it before.
People have definitely done it, but
I don't think anybody's ever done it with an album that like means so much to my wife.
Yeah. There. That's a more accurate statement.
That is. Until Grunge Sponge does it 20 years from now.
Yeah. And then I'll be like, you remember when?
Remember when we were listening to the Sponge?
I'm so...
the G Sponge.
Were you a spongy back in the day? Oh, big time.
But anyways.
Sopping fan.
Soaked it all up.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Switchfoot album is so good. And so we're listening to it. And I don't remember listening to this album as a teenager because I was I'd chosen a different path during those years.
Yeah.
Unlike Brooke, who was primed for Beautiful Letdown.
Are you kidding me?
Like,
well, it's such a good album.
Such a good album.
It was a good album then. It's a good album now. It's an equally good album with fantastic other musicians. I mean, so many people I already listened to are part of this like album redo.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, ugh, every single song
so we're listening
that comes on.
We're listening to it as we're cleaning up from dinner. Literally every song.
Every single track.
Oh, what a great song.
Oh, man,
so now,
it's a fantastic song.
I can't stop. It's my favorite character. The character that no matter what, what a great song.
It's a great song. It's a great one. It is
this
a great song.
This song is a great song. Which is your favorite track from the...
Oh, that's very difficult.
Maybe favorite-ish.
Favorite-ish.
Top three,
from
top
the
four.
Original,
Mount Rushmore.
From the original...
No, I'm talking about the redos.
No, I know. But I am partial to the certain redos because of the original. So, On Fire.
Who does that one in the new one?
I don't know. The country girl.
Your girl.
No. She does the other one.
More Than Fine? No.
No.
On Fire. I don't see that one.
Is that not the title of it?
No. Oh yeah, there it is. Ingrid Andress.
Yeah, which has like a country vibe, which is a great. It turned out fantastic. On Fire. Is that the name of it? That is, right?
Yeah.
24. 24 is probably one of my favorite tracks.
Tyler Joseph from 21 Pilots.
Yeah, who I'm like, I don't know, take it or leave it, 21 Pilots, but that is fantastic because the song is already fantastic. And then
what were you wearing when this original album came out?
Well, I would have been working at Hollister.
Okay, so low cut jeans.
Probably low cut jeans. Some sort of like graphic tee from Hollister, or like a dark brown tube top vibe.
Ooh.
Well, Hollister sold a lot of those, and so.
When's the last time you rocked a tube top? Our rehearsal dinner?
Yep.
I have a good memory.
You do. I was going to say that's probably the last time. I don't know what track number 3 would be. Like 24 and On Fire were always my favorite ones from the whole album. Okay. But the whole album is so good. So I don't know.
I think my
More
favorite.
Than Fine, Adding to the Noise.
I think, okay, so
any of them.
I have listened to this out. I wasn't like a Switchfoot guy until later in life.
Yeah.
But I've now
we all get there.
We all end with the foot. Just like we all end with the sponge. But Switchfoot, I've listened to them a lot later in life.
Yeah.
And so I come in with no like
no high school hormones.
Yes, 100%.
Emotions 100%. Attached to the songs.
And so my favorites from the remakes are This Is Your Life, Noah Gunderson, who I listen to Noah Gunderson here and there, but he's not like there are other musicians that they worked with that I'm like, oh, I listen to those guys a lot.
Yeah.
But that one, More Than Fine, Monica Martin. So good. And then I think I got to go with the Dayglow.
The Dayglow one is real good.
Adding to the Noise.
Dayglow. What does Sleeping at Last do?
He does Monday Comes Around.
Oh, yeah.
A good song.
I mean, they're all, it's such a good album.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, even like the Jonas Brothers one. And like, I was never a Jonas Brothers person. I think I was maybe past that a little bit age-wise. Like,
I don't think you're ever past Joe Bro, babe.
Because Bianca and I had a conversation. I can't remember if it was in real life or on the podcast.
The podcast is real life.
I mean, it is. But like, I don't remember if it was recorded or not, that I couldn't name a single Jonas Brothers song. And she was like firing them off. And I was like,
I couldn't either.
Nope. I mean, I can recognize their voices. Like if they were singing, I'd say this sounds like a Jonas brother.
Yeah.
I could tell you that much if I heard something.
I saw Nick Jonas play at his Sweet 16 party.
I know. You were like one of 50 people in the room.
Yeah.
Crazy. Nick, right?
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah.
Old Nicky.
Old Nicky Joe. And so anyway, I saw like an Instagram story or reel or something of them promoting their song that they did for the Switchfoot album, talking about it. And they were saying that the two younger brothers, which is what, Nick and the other one, everybody's yelling at me that I don't know their names.
Nick, Joe, and Jesse. Nick, Joe, and
Is his name literally Joe Jonas? It is.
Nick.
How have I never noticed that it's
Nick, Joe, and...
No, it's the older one.
Juwani?
Jwamali? Jwamali Jonas? I think that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the IMDb says. Anyway, I guess that was the first song that they ever played somewhere. Now I'm butchering the story, but the younger ones were like 24, which is not the song that they covered.
Kevin.
Yes, it is Kevin. I did know that. Kevin. Gotta love Kevin. I feel like he's the glue that holds them together. Do you get that vibe too?
I thought one of their names was Jim. So.
Anyway, it's a great album. Music segue.
It is a great album. I'll segue into something else. The podcast, the one that you're listening to right now, has 995,000 downloads. We are very close to 1 million. So tell your friends.
So if you've skipped any episodes, please go download them.
I would encourage everyone that listens on a weekly basis, especially you Monday morningers, to just text one friend about the podcast.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, I think you would like this episode. I think, and not a friend that already listens. We already got them, but like a new friend.
Yeah.
Speaking of listeners, we've had 2 sets of butt clenchers, 4 butts, 8 cheeks total, stay at our house on Maui.
Is that how we're going to start keeping track? How many people stayed with you? Well, let me start. Hold on. I know the cheek number, so let me do some math. It's going to take
36 cheeks.
I can't do 3rd grade math, so just hold on here.
And it's been great, and we're working on a way to make that easier to like kind of apply and do all that stuff. And whenever the new website is up with all that stuff, we'll have that information. But it's been so fun.
Yeah.
And we told stories about the first couple, so we're going to tell stories about the second couple.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to use their names.
You don't need to. It's their names are unnecessary to complete the story, right?
I don't know. It just feels more friendly when you're like,
I don't know. We didn't ask them, so I don't know.
Okay. But at one point,
I don't even know where you're headed. Every time I'm always like, what are you going to say?
I asked them the same question. What sort of weird stuff are you into? So we got into that conversation.
You didn't phrase it quite like that,
but we got talking about conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
And so
that was
I have some Google searches.
Oh, are we doing what I Googled?
Yeah. So
okay,
this was all one night of Googles.
Okay.
Okay.
You going first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Okay. Santa's got a brand new bag. Okay.
Santa's got a brand new bag.
So we said that phrase and we couldn't.
No, you said something in the bag. And then somebody was like, what? And so you said it again. And I don't remember what you said. Something in the bag. And then I turned and I was like, brand new bag. I like had like half of a quote.
Where is
and we're
this
all
from?
Going, yeah, that's from something.
It's from something.
Brand new bag. New bag. So we figured out it's Santa's got a brand new bag.
Which is from Elf when he's like, someone like.
Yes, in the department store when he's convinced someone from corporate came to decorate.
Code word
Santa's got a brand new bag.
Which led me down a rabbit hole that's a Christmas song. But it's actually a remake of a James Brown song.
Right.
Papa's got a brand new bag.
Right. Which I guarantee you listening, you have heard this song.
Brand new bag.
I was like, oh my word, I've totally heard this song. And I had no idea that's what he was saying.
And it's like that.
Or that's what got made into Santa's Got a Brand New Bag.
Which is like, people don't do that anymore. Like there's the joke in, what's that movie?
Love Actually.
Love Actually, where he's like remaking his hit song and making it into Christmas.
Yeah, people, let's Grunge Sponge.
Grunge Sponge might bring that back.
Grunge Sponge.
Anyway,
Christmas.
Santa's Got a Brand New Bag. Sunset Time. Kyrie Irving, Flat Earth.
Flat Earth.
Yeah. So
had to know.
Kyrie Irving apparently is a flat earther, but
he's also sorry about it.
But he doesn't want to talk about it, but he loves to
But he might want to talk about it.
Kyrie Irving is also a black Israelite. So we went down.
Whole other thing.
We weren't talking about conspiracy theories. We were talking about
we started there.
We were talking about rabbit holes that you go down, like the
that you've been down before.
Rabbit holes of just like I heard, like for me, like for specifically this Kyrie Irving, it was like I heard that he was a flat earther, so then I Google him.
Well, it's like when you Google, and doesn't Nate Bargatze have the bit about that? How he can't look at the answers. Because he's like, oh, I got to know about these eagles touching these people's heads. And then he gets the people also searched.
And so then I found out that
is that how you rabbit hole?
And so then I found out he's a black Israelite. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And so then I'm going down this hole of, I'm deeper in the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And apparently black Israelites believe that they are the descendants of Jews.
Right.
So.
Crazy.
Yeah. Anyways. So then we started talking about things that we're not smart enough to know if they're conspiracy theories or not. Because I saw this Instagram reel about the Challenger explosion and about, which is not funny.
No, it's not funny. But the thought process and what gets you here is funny.
This reel was about how all the astronauts on it, and I'm sure if you Google it, because I did, Challenger explosion.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory, you'll find information that I've seen on an Instagram reel.
Yeah.
Which is that all these astronauts aren't really dead. They are now professors at different colleges. And so it's showing me the picture of them in their astronaut gear and then showing me an older version of them as a professor.
Right.
And then this one. And then this is the professor's name and this one. And and I'm watching this and I'm like, do I believe this? But then I'm also
do I believe this now?
But then I'm also I'm not smart enough to know that they're showing me the real people from the
original astronaut photos that might not be really them.
So
it's literally just the professor in astronaut gear. All little do you know.
So we went down that rabbit hole. I guess Steve Jobs there's been a photo of Steve Jobs in the Middle East because he's still alive.
Supposedly.
So we went down that rabbit hole.
Yep.
We talked about mukbangs and what those meant, which made us talk about Nikki Cotto Avocado, the YouTuber that's really hard to watch. Alaska compared to the United States. Have you ever
Not a conspiracy, just a hey, did you know?
Did you know? Elon Musk. And then we got into
because I had no idea that Elon Musk is South African.
Yeah.
Because I said, well, I don't know. I've never heard him speak.
And I said, well, he's got a South African accent.
To which the both of you guys were like,
no, all of you were like, he's not South African. And you thought I was lying.
That's true, I did.
And I said, no, he is. And we looked it up and you need to submit to me. Should we add that to the podcast? I think we should.
Oh, I don't know. That's some energy. I don't know if people are ready for that.
Whenever it's like a me, Brad, and Ian thing, I guess. Whenever we're hanging out at Integrated and one of us says something and we end up being wrong, we say to the person that was right, I submit to you.
That's funny.
So I was right about Elon Musk. Then we got into, which I never knew this one, but Brad told me about this one. So Brad and I are leaving our hotel, or we're leaving. We dropped off the rental car because his flight left at 10, 11 p.m.
Yeah. And
Ian and I were staying at the hotel next to the Denver airport.
Connected to the one we stayed at. Yeah.
And as we're on the bus to go to the airport, Brad goes, have you ever heard the weird conspiracies about the Denver airport? And I'm like, no, but please tell me them.
Right.
He's like, well, the conspiracy is, and again, he was like, and again, I don't know all of it, but that the Denver airport, under the Denver airport, is where the lizard people or the Illuminati or the cabal that secretly runs the world lives.
Okay.
And there's a big blue horse outside that has like lightning bolts eyes, and it's like something to do with Revelation. And there's like all this weird art in the Denver airport that like is a little bit creepy. And I'm like, okay, what? And then he's like, and apparently the runways are shaped like swastikas and just like all.
First of all, I'm like, for real?
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all don't think, like, do you know how many pictures of that would surface all over the internet?
The swastika thing is a stretch. The way that they connect them, I'm just like, it's a stretch.
I'm like, yeah.
But we were walking through the airport through baggage claim to get to the hotel.
Oh, through baggage claim.
And there is this statue of what looks like a little demon gargoyle sitting in a suitcase. And I saw it and I was like, is this kind of what you were talking about? He's like, yes. And so
you can Google like Denver airport art conspiracy. And it's not even a conspiracy. It's just literally weird, the art that's in the Denver airport is very
weird. And so I don't know. I didn't see any lizard people coming out from under the airport, but also wasn't there very long.
Right. So TSA pre, baby.
Yeah. Just stroll right through security.
Right past all the lizards.
That was a conspiracy theory night. Is Martin Short really missing a tooth? Kihei library hours. I think that was you on my phone. Moses striking the rock. Why can't Moses enter the promised land? You know, just normal stuff. Jonas Brothers. That's up to the minute. What about you, babe?
Mine is so much stuff that I can't quite disclose yet.
Oh, yeah.
Happy, joyful, mellow names. 115 city names in a list.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going.
Sweater from something. Other sweater from something else. Beauty counter holiday presale.
Ooh.
Very exciting. Ordered all my Christmas stuff.
Nice.
Or not Christmas, like all their holiday sets, which I'm pumped about.
Which includes a new category, right? Are we not allowed to talk about it?
I could probably talk about it.
Okay.
I don't know. It is new and it's coming. And there's a little comes in a roller. Maybe I'll say that.
Okay.
You roll it on.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Doesn't come in a sponge.
It's not a sponge.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Maybe they'll do that.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get there. Urban Outfitters sweater. I needed a lot of information about sweaters.
Any?
Just because.
Okay.
And cool. This makes me laugh. So, Gourmet XL digital air fryer toaster oven with, it's cut off. I can't see the rest, blah, blah, blah. Costco. So I see this guy in Costco. He's in the food court area and he has this giant, beautiful air fryer that's like double doors that you can see into it. It's like glass that opens. It was so cool. So I was like, I got to Google this real quick.
Yeah.
Wondering if I needed one. Turns out I don't. It doesn't have great reviews. It's basically just like a toaster oven and they're calling it an air fryer. And so people were having some hot takes about it.
Nice.
But my first Google search was Costco Gori, because I Googled it so fast. Guari Medi air fryer doors. And it got me the right one.
Nice.
So
thanks,
crushing it, Google. Yeah, lots of beauty counter links, clean hair gel, Casper mattress, California King mattress, price. I think that was you.
Nice. That was me today.
Yeah, I don't have as much lately. Little Prince, because we were watching that and I don't know why I needed to know something about it. Probably somebody's voice. Almond Cow, Olipop is full-hearted a phrase. It is.
Oh, speaking of phrases.
Yes.
This has been going on for quite some time. Brooke has been saying the phrase. I don't even know how to bring it up because speaking of, we told both stories to both couples. So there are two deep cut stories that we can't share on the podcast. One is the hardest we've ever laughed, and one is something that embarrasses Brooke. And both stories got cackles from the butt clenchers. Anyways, that's beside the point. So if you ever stay with us, you get access to the two deep cut stories.
I think you think the second one's embarrassing.
No, you think it's embarrassing. I was going to share it on this podcast.
Should we share it right now?
No.
Should we just do it?
No, because it's included. Now it's behind the paywall.
It's a deep cut. It'll slice. It's behind the paywall. AKA our front door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, what was I saying?
I don't know. You just need to like knuckle down and get to it.
Yes. So using this phrase.
Apparently knuckle down is not a phrase. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, except that I do know how to use it in context.
I think you're trying to say buckle down.
Buckle down. And also like, is knuckle through it? That's not a phrase either.
But Brooke has been saying we got to knuckle down when she like wants to work hard on something or like focus on something.
Maybe I'm like gripping it really tightly.
Just love it so much. It's so wrong. It's not a phrase anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. And you use it. So now it's all we use.
Yeah.
When we're like, we have to like get serious about work. Like, hey, I gotta go upstairs. I gotta knuckle down. I actually am gonna Google it right now to see if it's actually a phrase.
I don't know if it is, but I think maybe people might use it like
knuckle down definition.
Okay.
Apply oneself seriously to a task.
Oh, thank you. Look at you trying to shame me. Knuckle down.
Shook.
Are you shook right now?
I have never heard anyone but you ever use it.
Right. I mean,
the
buckle
sailors
down.
knuckled down when there was work to be done.
See? Look at me getting it done.
If someone knuckles down, they begin to work or study very hard, especially in a period when they have done little work. I submit to you.
Okay.
I submit to you. I'm totally wrong.
But see, what does buckle down even mean?
I don't know.
That means more like I think I could use it in a sentence.
The pair tackle a task with determination. They mean the same thing.
They mean the same thing.
Okay, well, which one do you prefer?
You knuckle those buckles.
You knuckle those buckles right down.
And you just write down.
Wow, I'm shook. I submit to you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. I will take your submission.
Thank you. Okay, so we have the Christmas collection coming out, which we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. And one of the phrases and one of the designs says, "Plant in faith, harvest in joy." Mm-hmm. It's by Daniel Newman, designer we've worked with many times, who just got married.
Yeah.
I don't know if he listens to the podcast.
There you go, Danny boy.
There you go, Danny boy. Nice. Sorry, Grunge Sponge couldn't play at the wedding. They're practicing for something, though.
Let's hope.
Let's hope
they win that competition and then decide we're donezo.
Or, hey, we now record at a different space far away from here.
Yeah,
they are done.
That'd be real nice.
It's just, I'm shocked at how loud it is.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know who you would complain to.
I mean, the HOA. But I don't even know if they have much power over
I also don't know, like there's noise ordinances, right?
Right.
But I feel like even it's beyond a noise ordinance noise. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ordinance. Like
ordinance.
Like it's beyond just the general, like, social.
I mean, I don't know. I guess that's what a noise ordinance is for.
Yeah,
like,
but it is so loud.
Yeah.
Like, so
like I do wonder if anybody else has complained.
Yeah.
Or if
we have not complained.
We're not yet.
I'm confident that that Grunge Sponge won't last. Mm-hmm. I think that they'll eventually break up.
Don't break up, you guys.
Grunge and Sponge will split.
I think I'm going with Sponge.
You're going with Sponge?
Yeah. If I have to choose sides,
I'm choosing between a grungy and a spongy. I'm going to be a spongy.
Yeah.
Obviously. Okay. So plant in faith, harvest and joy. The design is really cool. I'll put like a link to a phone wallpaper so you guys can see it if you want in the show notes. But it says plant in faith, harvest and joy. It is a sort of like a drawing of a flower growing. Mm-hmm. And it's really, really cool. It's really well done. And so we want to talk about all the designs that we're launching for Christmas. Mm-hmm. And so as we were talking about this one, this was the first one we picked because I feel like some of the other ones, which is why I was Googling about Moses, I think are a little bit like weightier, not weightier. Like I feel like there's a weighty design. It's a weighty meaning. It's a weighty message. But I feel like some of the other ones are like more like, I don't know, we have to dive a little bit deeper, do a little bit of research.
Yeah.
Because when you mentioned this one, you said, okay, if we're going to talk about this one, what in our lives have we planted in faith and harvest and joy?
Have we already done that? Yeah.
Well, your question was, do you have any examples of that?
Yeah.
Or are we doing, I think your actual question was, do we have any examples of that? Or are we doing that now?
What are we planting now? Hoping. Yeah.
And I said, it's both. I think it's both and. I think planting in faith and harvesting in joy should be a constant interaction, practice, cause and effect of your life. You know, and my first example, I think, would be Sabbath. So when we started Sabbath, we were planting
practice of that. Yeah,
we were planting in faith that this was that living rhythmically and having a 7-day rhythm and taking a Sabbath and doing this family dinner, the Shabbat dinner, was like we were planting in faith to hopefully harvest in joy. And so after 5 years of doing that, or almost 5 years, or wherever we are, I would say that's one that like that was like the first thing that popped into my head that and even just yesterday, yesterday was our Sabbath. And we were at the beach and I was just like, man, I just can't imagine what our lives would be like without this day.
Yeah. It's literally a little hard for me to picture it. It's such an anchor to what we do and what we kind of like revolve around that it's like, if that was gone.
Yeah. If I picture the last 5 years.
It hasn't been quite 5.
Almost
because
5 years.
Sunny was over 1 when we started and she's 5 now, but still somewhere in there. Like, yeah. I mean, we have done it like we're in the hundreds of times. I did the math when we recorded Rhythms Made Simple and I don't remember the answer right now.
How many weeks are in a year?
52. That's your conspiracy that you think it's 54 or 56. What do you think?
I say 56 all the time and I don't know why.
Yeah. So it's not. There's 365 days a year.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's like what was that episode of How I Met Your Mother when he says chameleon? Like it's like a brain, it's like a short circuit in your brain that you're just like, 52. I am wrong on this every time. But then when you're wrong on something like that so often,
you start to think it's right.
You start to think, okay, I normally think it's 52. That's the wrong number. Right. And that, like, I always get this wrong.
Yeah.
It's 56. Yeah. Confidence. Okay, so if we take 52, let's
say we've done it 4 years.
4 years. I know we've done it over 4 years because we started right after the first integrated, which would have been.
Yeah, which you've been doing 4 years now.
Yeah, but we just finished the second one. So it's like 4.5 years. So let's just say 4 years. 52.
Yeah.
Times 4.
Yes.
208.
Right.
So 208 Sabbaths, roughly, give or take.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and when I think about that, like I think about the faith, like, and it wasn't this like big moment of like we're gonna do this in faith and we're gonna like go out on this limb and we're gonna like
not necessarily no,
but it was sort of this shift of like, Lord, we trust you enough to give you this one day every week. We're going to lay down our tools. We're just going to rely on you. We're going to rest. We're going to we stopped using social media on those days, which is like a big way that, we make our income. And so it was like, when I think about that, like it wasn't planted in faith in terms of like, like let's believe for a miracle or let's believe for this huge thing. It was just this subtle, like, like the design is so cool because it's like, like it was just a small seed that we put in the ground and like we watered it weekly. Yes. And we saw it grow and now we are seeing it bear fruit. Yeah. And that's really where the harvest and joy is. Like, especially like, again, just yesterday, I was just out, like a couple of things that happened because of Sabbath that I don't think would have happened without them. One is moving here. I don't think that would have happened if we weren't practicing Sabbath. I feel like the Lord used Sabbath to speak to us, specifically to speak to Brooke in some ways. And that ended us up here. And again, we've had conversations with other couples who have said sort of similar experiences that when you give your heart and your soul time to like let down,
yes,
and
to
be
totally come down
still and rest, like you can hear the voice of the Lord.
Yeah.
More clearly.
What bubbles up or what comes up or what you suddenly hear is easier to hear. It's easier to find. Yeah.
So I don't think we lived here. So there's an element of that like every Sabbath, I'm reminded of this sort of radical life change that I never expected, but that I can look back as the small seed that was planted as Sabbath that we are now harvesting.
Yeah.
That we're seeing the fruit of, both in just like our relationship, what living on Maui has done for our kids, what it's sort of challenged us to do. And so I think that I love the idea of the design. Like I love the design. I saw it. I was like, we have to do this one because I think it's so powerful because we are hopefully constantly living in that state of like, I want to plant in faith because in the future I want to harvest and joy. And so like, I talked about it 2 episodes ago where I'm trying to convince myself that stretching is good.
You love stretching.
I love stretching. I actually love it. It's so fun. I can't wait. I'm going to do it after the podcast.
Do we really have to stretch?
No, I have to upload this. Otherwise I would.
Okay.
But like I'm trying to plant that in faith that I can harvest it as Grandpa TJ enjoy playing with his grandkids.
Yeah.
And so there's always these things that we should be trying to think about as like, what does the Lord have for me 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 years from now? And what can I do now to like sow the seed for that person that will harvest that fruit?
Yeah.
And that's a powerful image to live your life by.
Oh yeah.
And to be constantly seeing the fruit of the seeds that you've already planted. Like if you planted the seed of like, I'm going to get up early, I'm going to spend time with the Lord, I'm going to have my quiet time, I'm going to plant this seed over and over and over again, it's likely that you're harvesting the joy. You're seeing the fruit of that obedience and that work in the field per se.
Right.
And so that's great. And like we should always be taking note of the fruit that we can see in our lives because of our relationship with Christ. But that shouldn't we need to plant for the future.
Well, yeah, I think you could take the quiet time thing. You could take any of it, the stretching, literally any part of it. I think what I like about the design and what it kind of reminds me and challenges me to think about is how like my life as a whole, like when I see that design, I personally don't think about it just as like, that's just like that one seed is representing like my whole life and I'm going to like plant early on and then like harvest when I'm older. Like, I don't think that I think about like how many seeds am I plant, multiple seeds every day. Like I'm planting when I stretch, I'm planting when I do quiet time, I'm planting when I do this, I'm planting when I do that. And then that's going to take some time to grow. But then tomorrow I'm going to plant the exact same seeds again. And so I feel like it's this really cool reminder of how it is so like cyclical in its process and rhythmic in its process. Because when I think about Sabbath, I feel like there are conversations we're having or naps I'm taking or whatever on a Saturday for us that are both, it's like this, it's like both and. It's like I'm harvesting in joy. I'm cutting the flowers, if you will, on that Sabbath of something I planted months ago. But then I'm also planting for the future.
Yeah, it's like you're eating the fruit, but then taking that seed that's in the fruit and
sticking
planting
it right back down in the ground. And this like ongoing, like, I do picture it so ongoing and rhythmic and not just this like timeline of life. This like one like. Yeah.
And Jeff and Jeremy talk about that in various books and teachings of like,
we talk about it in our course a lot.
How we kind of look at life as this, culturally, we look at life at this straight line. And scripturally, life is very much more circular.
Yeah.
Going in a direction, but
Right.
circular.
Like a looping line.
And that's where I feel like this design captures that very well. It's like we are planting in faith consistently, and then we're harvesting that fruit to then replant in faith.
Yeah.
Because it's like you don't just do quiet time, which is like a really good example. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I did 100 quiet times. I've harvested that fruit. Now I'm done.
Right.
Like it is an ongoing thing. Same with Sabbath. We're enjoying the fruit of consistent Sabbath for 4 years.
Right.
Only to know that like what we're planting now, like specifically with the girls, like if the girls, before every Sabbath, we have a dinner. Mm-hmm. We light candles, and I ask these questions, and I say, "What is this dinner called?" And they say Shabbat. I say, "What does Shabbat mean?" They say to cease. What does Shabbat start?
Sabbath.
Who gave us Sabbath?
No, will you say what is Sabbath?
What is Sabbath?
A day of rest. The day of rest.
Who gave us Sabbath?
God.
Why did he give us Sabbath?
Because he loves us.
Yeah. And so when I think about that seed being planted week in and week out, that we try to make Sabbath their favorite day of the week, what they will harvest as adults who have been given the rhythm of rest early and often in life will it could be that they don't struggle with anxiety as much as their peers or as they would have without Sabbath. It could be that they pick a great husband because he understands that practice is so valuable. It could help them weed out the bad picks, like in all reality. And so there is so much power in that seed being planted over and over again that yes, we're harvesting some of the fruit now in sort of just the peace and the joy that it's brought our lives. Yeah. But then we're replanting it for the peace and the joy that it's going to bring June, Sunny, and Daisy's life.
Yeah.
And then they'll replant it.
Yeah.
And we as grandparents will also be able to experience that fruit.
Yeah.
And when you think about that and you see that reminder on your shirt or, as a sticker or whatever, however you're going to get it, like that can become a powerful piece of language in our lives of just like, what am I planting today? What can I plant in this moment, in this season that I'm in, that I'm planting in faith, believing that God will use my little offering, my little sacrifice, my tiny seed to bring him glory, but that will harvest joy in the future. And when I say that, is there anything that comes to your mind that you feel is in this season that you're sort of planting?
Like full transparency. No, nothing specific comes to mind, which I know is like not the best podcast host, but it's real. That's okay. Like that's really where I'm at. I'm certain if I had time to sit on and think about or skim through my journal or something, I'd be like, oh yeah, duh. But, nothing jumps to mind, but what's cool. And again, people can't see the design. So if you could click on the picture so you can see it as we talk about it, it shows it growing in like 6 stages. Like there's you could literally see the seed coming up and turning into a plant or into a flower. And I think what I do think about is I sort of have like different areas or categories of my life that I feel like, okay, that's kind of like stage 2, according to this design, Yeah. Like, and then these are definitely fully grown in the 6. And then this is kind of hovering around the 4 point.
Okay.
And I like seeing that visual process because it reminds me that like it's all needed and necessary. It's not just from 1 to 6.
You don't pull the flower out at 3.
No, like it takes time. And yeah, I don't know. Do you feel like there's something I'm totally blanking on?
That you're planting now? No, I think that there's I don't think there's one big thing, because I think there's a lot of times when we hear the words like, do this in faith, like we think of sort of like this like big sort of
moment, like mountaintop moment.
Yeah, like we're moving,
church camp moment.
Yeah, we're moving abroad to be missionaries. Like It's got like we're doing this in faith. We're believing, and all those things are big, but people don't just make those decisions because like those decisions are built off of seasons of planting in faith and harvesting in joy. Yeah. And so I don't feel like there's one, there is one, like,
I don't know. I'm like,
we've been having conversations about adoption. And so I would say that sort of like, that's probably the biggest one. That's like, are we going to plant this in faith?
Yeah.
Like, we're doing this in faith. We're believing that this is the direction that we're supposed to be headed.
Right.
And there will be joy that comes from that, hopefully. But that's probably the biggest one that I think.
Yeah.
But most of what I think is like, it's just this little tiny stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, to me, it's like every day when I homeschool.
Yeah.
Like, not that I'm not harvesting other joy during homeschool, but like just the planting in faith that like, this is what we want for our kids. And this is what we've prayed about for our kids. And this is where I'm supposed to be. And it is supposed to, all that.
We have some business things that we're doing.
Oh, I would say that's some planting in faith. Yeah.
That we have that we're just like, hopefully this is.
Yeah. And I think your point to like, it's not always this big mountaintop thing is really good, because if I'm constantly living my life in a posture of faith as a whole, like that's the umbrella that's over my season and my life and my decisions and who I am and all those things. Like I'm living and walking in faith, then anything I'm planting, whether it's a large seed or a small seed or anything, is in faith. And 100%. When I think about it like that, in faith, instead of like, and I'm going to move this mountain, like, right. That's just like, that's the posture I as the person planting and as the gardener, like being given, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, everybody. A steward, of all the resources and everything in my life, all the seeds I've got, to be doing them in faith like that, because it's like, I am in this posture of faith, and then I'm planting here and there and here and there.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you feel like anything different jumps out, or?
No, I think, the business thing, I think when you talk about it being sort of this, the design is broken up into 6 little visual drawings.
There can be as many steps as you would like it to be in your life for your example.
100%.
But for the sake of the literal item art, or the design.
And I do like your sort of language for that there are there's things at stage 1, there's things at stage 6, because even at 6, I don't think like like it's not like we're ripping those flowers out of the ground.
Right.
We're hopefully like cultivating them to continue to bloom and blossom and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like we want that
then
fruit.
You prune it and you do all
100%.
sorts of things. Yeah.
But I think what I like about that sort of take on the design is that sometimes, and I've felt this probably more so these last 2 years than I have really any other years.
Or you have the language to finally talk about it, and you have always kind of felt it.
Is that there are times in life when you're at 2 or 3.
The stage, you mean?
Yeah.
Or so we're calling it,
years. And that is hard. That is...
That like, yes. That like between steps, it's not like 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and 3 to 4, all the way is the same chunk of time.
No.
Necessarily.
Yeah. Like the seeds we planted for Sabbath, we've harvested those frequently and often.
Yeah.
And that feels very good, and that's refreshing, and that's been really good for us. But there are some other seeds in life, like, maybe in work or in physical fitness or physical health or,
anything, relationships, lots of other things.
Where I feel like I feel like I'm at stage 2. I have this little tiny seedling that will never blossom. And that is hard.
Yeah.
That is hard to live in that season and still walk by faith. Like it is hard for anybody to do that. And I know that a lot of us, myself included, Brooke, you're included in that as well. We feel that. And there are times when we see that little, seedling that kind of stinks. I'm not going to say the S word.
Don't.
I want my parents to be able to listen to this.
Yeah.
And it's hard and it's frustrating. And so I think you saying, well, I think that some things are here and some things are there, which I think is accurate.
Yeah.
I think that for some of us, what things may be at one stage for a lot longer than we want them to be.
Yeah.
And it's not like plant in faith and harvest in joy quickly. Like that's not the phrase that we're printing on a shirt.
Yeah.
And so if I guess my encouragement to you, if you feel like you're stuck in stage 1 or 2 or 3 of something that you know, that you believe, that you planted in faith, that you want to see the harvest of joy, or the harvest, you want to see the fruit in your life, whether that's joy, whether that's success, whether that's income, whatever it may be, and you're stuck at stage 2 and you don't feel like that will ever come. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
And that's not fun.
Yeah.
But it's not like, but that's why we don't just plant one seed and just sit there and wait. Like we live our lives and we keep seeking the Lord and walking by faith, and use, again, like if we think about the talents that he's given us as seeds, like, did he give you 1 seed, 5 seeds, 10 seeds, 100 seeds? And how are you going to use those throughout your life to bring him glory?
Yeah.
You'll see a harvest if you do that.
Absolutely.
And that's sort of the encouragement that I would give to you, that like, even in those seasons of frustration, or you feel like it's stalled out and you're like, okay, I don't think it's grown in 2 weeks, I think it's dying. Like, remain faithful and remain steadfast and continue to pursue Jesus, because eventually I think it'll turn a corner.
Yeah. I would also add, and then we can wrap it up if you want, like, as you were talking, I'm
just realizing this episode's probably going to be long.
It's very long because we paused. So this timer is off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I sort of was like hearing or thinking about how, like, it's okay. So you're saying like, sometimes it feels like you're stuck at a 2 or stage 3 or stage 4. Again, according to the design that has 6 steps. I'm encouraging myself to think about this, but I think anybody else as well, like, also to be aware of that it might not be growing into what we think it looks like.
That's a good word.
Like, we think we planted a sunflower or, whatever, like, you can get real literal with the seeds.
100%.
Or we planted zinnias, or you planted whatever,
Yep.
because you think that's what it's going to be. And so it's like 2-part. It's like, 1, the encouragement would be, if it just ends up not being exactly what you thought, or it's not what your neighbor planted or your sister planted or whatever, like, to just know that, like, it might, when you do harvest, it might look different than you thought it was going to look. But then also, if it does look different, are you actually further along in your stage, but you don't know, but you don't know it because you don't know what you're looking for. Do you know what I mean? Like, are you actually way closer to a 6? Could you be harvesting in joy right now? It's just that you didn't, you've had your mind so set or whatever on it being a certain way, or looking this way, or happening this way, or whatever, that maybe there's something that you could harp. Like, maybe you're not actually stuck at a 4,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And there's also a lot of work going on beneath the surface that we are very unaware of, that any sort of plant needs deep, thriving roots to be successful.
Right.
And so there's an element of that's like, we might not see any sort of growth on the surface, but the Lord might be doing something beneath the surface, like in our hearts, that's going to allow us to see and see the fruit and taste the fruit in a more vibrant way. Than if we just, again, like, we don't want to plant our seed on, rock where it'll just sprout up and die. Like, and so, I just, I just love that design. The second I saw it from old Danny Boy, and there's something about it that I think will really,
it's so simple, even in its drawing, even in its illustration, that it, has so many things do. It seems to be more powerful in its simplicity.
100%.
And I was just like, yes, want to wear that.
Yeah. So, because I don't know how long we've been talking, we should probably stop.
Yeah.
Sunny came out and interrupted us partway in, so I have no idea how much time has passed.
Yeah.
But that design, Plant in Faith, Harvest in Joy, which you can get as a wallpaper in the show notes, or you can DM us. What episode are we on? 180.
I don't know the answer to that.
Hold on, let me find it real quick. Hold on.
I'm going to guess.
I'm going to guess 183.
I was going to guess 182.
No, we just did 183. So this is 184.
Wow.
So
look at us.
If you DM us 184,
the numbers
on Instagram, we'll message you a download of the design as well. So if you can't get the show notes to work, go to Instagram and then DM us that.
Nice.
And then that design will be available October 1st through 10th, like the whole Christmas collection, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll start previewing that as soon as it comes in this week.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to come to the Christmas extravaganza and you want a 50% off coupon, you can use the word Grunge Sponge for general admission or Grunge Sponge Plus for general admission plus. And all the details of the Christmas extravaganza will be in the links and stuff. So
amazing.
That's it. We did it on the couch, babe.
Look at us.
And the band is done, so we can go to bed now.
Wow.
Well, I'll have to upload this and then I'll go to bed.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for making us a part of your week. Okay, I love you. Bye.